Hello, everyone. Welcome to Starting 11 for week 20, match week 20 in the Premier League. Guys, girls, insects, whatever's watching, reached the top of the hill and now the decline. Past the halfway point of the season, everything's going to start ramping up here now. Of course, I say that the week before, or the weekend before there's a weekend off due to FA Cup action, but we make it all up the week after with a double week. So stay tuned for that. But first, of course, match week 20, we're going to start, guys. And everybody's famously favorite nondescript stadium, Tottenham Hotspur's Stadium. I saw like on the banner that they're gonna have like a 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige concert. I was like, oh, I'd be in for that. I wouldn't be in there for the football. Like, come on, what do you want? But that's a good concert, guys. One of the better Super Bowl performances as well when they had Eminem up there as well. Dr. Dre, you know what I mean. Okay. Anyways, back to the pitch. For goodness sakes, Spurs have to start Timo Werner in Son Heung-min's spot. I don't know how much they had to do it, but they did. But Brandon Austin is in goal. Yep. For Spurs, Jed Spence starting it right back for them. They had a couple of, injuries and sicknesses and stuff like that. Keep a couple people out. Guess what? It happens to everybody. I think Newcastle knows what it's like to lose players for a little while, and that's their opposition. And home side actually gets on the board first, and it's Dom Solanke. Dom Solanke has really been rounding into form. Like, I thought, like the first couple of matches, I think for Spurs, I think he was okay, and then he just kind of fell off the board there for a little while. But he has been playing much better of late. Scores again, puts Spurs up 1-0. Now, just 2 minutes later, because they're Spurs and they have that weird high line that can easily be countered against. But this time there's a problem with their own players here. We'll just say that Anthony Gordon gets a goal from a pass by Bruno Guimaraes. Seems reasonable. Seems okay. No problem. The problem was that Joe Linton on the lead up had his hand by his side when a pass comes through. I'm trying to Bergvall. Lucas Bergvall makes a pass. Joe Linton has his hand originally behind him like this, and it kind of goes to his side, but kind of dropped to his side. It wasn't like in, it wasn't sticking out. It just dropped to his side. It goes off his hand in the build up to the play. VAR have a look at it. They clear it, which I think is fine. There's going to be a more egregious call that also doesn't get called this week in a match that, or in a match that certainly it wouldn't have mattered much. But I think this was fine, just where his hand was. We're talking about 6 feet of space. He didn't react to the ball. His hand was dropped down. I didn't think he made himself any bigger. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then, so it's 1-1. And then the Newcastle just keep putting the pressure on. The Toons finally get their second goal. It's a second chance for Isaac. He had one in the 32nd minute where he's coming along and the ball goes across to him. He misses that first chance, but he doesn't miss the second chance. And in a very similar play, almost exact same play, he scores his 13th. That'll stand as the match winner. Now, back to more kind of in-the-box shenanigans in this one. I've already told you the score, but 59th minute, Anthony Gordon goes into the box. And Dejan Kulusevski standing in his ground. Gordon looks like he just puts his head down and runs into Kulusevski. to try and draw the penalty. This is something that Gordon does every week. He is notorious for manufacturing penalties for Newcastle. This time he seems to headbutt his shoulder. He cuts his nose open. There's a long stoppage. I took a look at the replay, and I wish Adelia's here. Adelia is going to be here, hopefully at some point. She has to deal with that terrific internet they have in, parts unknown. So she may or may not make it. Hopefully she will. Anyways, Gordon's bleeding. I take a look at the replay, and maybe Kulusevski stands a little taller, if you know what I mean, when Gordon's coming around. But the problem is, Anthony Gordon has cried wolf for how many years now? Maybe they're just like, no. They notice. They know these things. Sometimes they just feel they have to call it, but they aren't going to give him that. Even though, did he earn that one? Maybe. He earned it with a little bit of blood, but wasn't called. That's it. 2-1 game for Newcastle. Newcastle stay in 5th now. Spurs dropped to 12th. This is amazing. This is amazing stuff. But, it was like Chelsea 2 years ago. Moving on. We're going to talk about Bournemouth and Everton. And David Brooks scored the game's only goal 77 minutes in. I believe he's a Welsh international, David Brooks. Jumps up. It was a nice goal. He jumps up to kick in a Kirkash cross. That's a second this season. Bournemouth move up to 7th. Everton holding at 16th. But teams are starting to bunch around them now. I believe Wolves and Ipswich Town both just a point behind them. Leicester and Wolves are a point behind them, and Ipswich Town just 2 points behind them. And supposedly, discussions have been made with Everton's new ownership group regarding Sean Dyche's managerialship. I think that's the longest word I'll say today. Maybe I'll say all year. Is this Sean Dyche's fault? Maybe they don't really play a fantastic defense. I think Jordan Pickford really helps them out. The more I watch of Everton, the more I tend to appreciate Jordan Pickford of all players. But they have really no midfield. Their attacking options limited. This is the ownership's job. Get those players. January window, and we're not hearing anything about anybody going to Everton. But why would anyone go to Everton now? It's odd. Anyways, moving on. We go to Palace. They're at home taking on my beloved Chelsea. Notice I'm not wearing the jersey today. Jerseys, guys, for winners. Put the flag up. We get a point because they draw Palace. Cole Palmer scores. I guess that's a good thing for us. It was a nice play by Jadon Sancho to get on the ball. Jadon Sancho, I think, now has more assists in his limited time with Chelsea than he ever did in United, which is kind of funny. I think it's only 6, something like that. Still not too bad. My buddy Nicholas Jackson. So many people calling him. Like maybe he can be like Drogba. He's not Drogba. He is not Didier Drogba. 4 attempts on net, not one on. Now they were close. There were 2 for some reason instead of passing. He decides to go left-footed off the side of his foot. That misses the net. Another one on his right gets very close to the net as well. Cole Palmer set him up early with a real nice play. I believe it was from a free kick that he gets to. Puts that thing well wide. Nicholas Jackson has to hit the net. Doesn't matter how many goals he scored. It matters how many goals he could have scored. And he could have scored a ton. He should have over 20 goals this year. Easily. And now with Chelsea, with this draw, only getting 2 points of their last 12, it's becoming a problem. And against the caliber of players or teams as well. You think this is win. So, loss against Fulham at home. Goodness sakes. That's a hard pill to swallow. Ipswich, their first win in the Premier League in 22 years. Draw against Crystal Palace now. It is. It's been a tough Christmas holiday. It's been a poor 2025 so far. As a fan of Chelsea Football Club, that is. But still, they're hanging around fourth place. I guess we should talk a little bit more about the actual game. Go back to Sancho. He and Cucurella are defensively. I don't know how that's working. It seems like Mark Cucurella is well out of position now with Sancho there. Sancho just isn't coming back enough. Cucurella is having to play too far forward. That's something that's got to get worked out on the pitch. They need to have training time, and then they're gonna they can have their B team play the FA Cup draw or whatever if they need to. They have to get this right, and they have to figure out the pair that works best. Maybe having Neto over there and having Sancho come off the bench. But do you want Matchweek on the right side that often? Neto's pretty darn good on the right side. Of course, he can play both, but he's pretty darn good on the right side. Should have gotten the penalty. I have no idea how this happens. How he's fouled by Tyrick Mitchell in the box. He gets ownership of the ball. Tyrick Mitchell makes a swat at him. He misses the ball completely. He takes Neto down by the legs. Neto falls to the ground in the box. How is there no call? How does VAR not intervene? I'm past the point of being mad about these things now. It's just, where's the, maybe the accountability as well, but we just need to see consistency. How can you not be a consistent PGMOL? Like, how can you not have this right? When someone has his feet taken out from in the box with possession of the ball when somebody else doesn't make a play on the ball, how is it not a penalty? Why is this hard? This isn't hard. Football can be an easy game. You just make it so hard. And you embarrass yourself. Like the PGMOL is a laughing stock and a joke. Too many guys have been there too long. You need new guys. You need better guys. Like the arrogance, the absolute arrogance of the referees in the English league is phenomenal and pathetic. Anyways, what also is pathetic is that Chelsea just can't keep a clean sheet. How much more do I complain about this if Chelsea just gets one or two more goals? Like, this is the problem. They're just not scoring goals for a team that has scored so often. They're just falling to pieces now, trying in front of net, not being able to convert. JP Mateta does. Cole Palmer with a giveaway, and eventually goes to Ebereze. He feeds it across the Mateta, who scores easily. Like I said, Chelsea's still fourth, but they are trending downwards. There are teams now bunching up behind them. There's teams now climbing past them. I believe with Liverpool, if they win their game in hand, I think they'll be 13 points ahead of Chelsea or something like that. So again, like I said last, Maresca, you preach that they're not in a title race. Well, you were right, but I think you got into their heads that they're not in. There's got to be a way to communicate better with your club. It's like, we don't think you're in a title race, but doesn't mean you can't go for it. Why not? Like, oh my gosh, whatever. Well, I will drive myself nuts if I keep thinking about it. Anyways, moving on. Let's go to Villa Park. Aston Villa taking on Leicester, and oh boy, Fifth loss in a row for the Foxes under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Oh boy. And all goals come now in the second half. Ross Barkley puts Villa ahead. The well-traveled former Chelsea man, Ross Barkley, and he puts Villa ahead in the 58th minute. Nice heavy shot from outside the box, low. I think we should say there's all these low shots. They're just so tough to get to for a keeper. Ross Barkley scoring again. Nice to see. Foxes will tie it. That's Steffi Madfadidi leveling it 5 minutes later. He gets to clean up a Jamie Vardy rebound that Emmy Martinez left lying around. Make it 1-1. But Leon Bailey ensures the 3 points for the Villains. Ian Matson actually makes a good play on this, intercepting James Justin pass just outside the box. He gets it back from Jake Ramsey in the box before finding Bailey charging in front of goal in the 76th minute. Villa now up to 8th. They've had a weird season. No consistency really in their year so far. Foxes had a chance to get themselves out of relegation and couldn't. They keep falling. Not pretty if you're over at King Power Stadium. Okay, moving on. We want to talk what's not pretty at a home stadium, and oh boy, we're going to go to St. Mary. Southampton hosting Brentford, and once again, give up 5 goals at home. Kevin Schade, we get a brace from Brian Mbumo, including a 69th minute penalty. Keane Lewis Potter scores. Joan Wissa gets a goal as well. Saints get embarrassed. B's wearing that green kit. I think that's their 3rd kit, the yellow numbers. How do these guys not have a yellow and black striped kit? Isn't that just, they're the Bees. They have a red, maybe English Bees are red and white stripe. That doesn't make any sense to me. I believe the singer, Sting, was called Sting because he had a black and yellow striped shirt. Doesn't that thing just sell itself if you get a black and white strip, put Brentford on there? It'll be better than the olive green or whatever the heck that was, or forest green possibly. Anyways, they beat the hell out of Southampton. So I'm just finding something to pick on some West London neighbors of Chelsea. Now, VR did have a look at was holding Jan Bednarak on I think it was a free kick, maybe. I think it was a free kick. He does hold Bednarak. He does get his arms around him at one point, but Bednarak clearly just throws himself to the ground. It was just a brief. It was like this. You've seen much more clinching and stuff like that on free kicks in the Premier League, and he just drops himself to the ground. I think VAR was correct in saying no, forget about it, whatever. And that meant I had to agree with Craig Pawson on a call. So you can tell it was pretty egregious. Maybe you should have gotten a yellow color just for the the dive, but we'll move on. One thing, hearing rumors about Ben Brereton Diaz getting moved on from Southampton in January. Here's the deal. I don't believe Ben Brereton has ever been featured on a winning squad in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons. I think he's an offer every time he's shown up. Who would want that on their squad? And I remember last year when he came in, he looked good, but he was one of the better guys on the best squad. But why would you want to have that? Athletes are superstitious. You bring in a guy who's never won on your squad. I don't know where you go from there. I guess he can go I don't know if he can go anywhere in Europe. I don't know who would want this guy. This is the crazy thing. Like, you have to look into like the championship and stuff like that. Like maybe Plymouth, who's languishing down there, who have nothing better to do. Maybe a Brereton Diaz can win with a side like that, but I don't see where he goes in the Premier League. Anyways, moving on. Let's go to the Etihad. City are playing. City, are they rounding back into form? Manchester City? Like, we're talking about victories against Leicester and now West Ham. Is that convincing? Is that telling you City's back? Well, they get on the board first, but not through their own fault. It's an own goal by Vladimir Kufa. The French international puts his boot in the way of a shot. It deflects in. And then the resurgent Erling Haaland gets a brace. A 16 on the season. And then there's one by the reigning, defending Premier League Player of the Year, Phil Foden. He scores a goal. And this guy is second. This is second of the campaign. The Premier League Player of the Year, Phil Foden. 2 goals on the year. Him winning that award last year was nonsense, and it continues to be full. So, all right. Nicholas Füllkrug gets a consolation goal in the 71st minute. Now, West Ham news, guys. Do I take any delight in bad things happening to West Ham? I do. Seriously. And honestly do. They let go of Julian Lopetegui after this match. Mercifully, I would say. He just did not fit at London Stadium. They never, ever looked good. But the fun part for me is the rumor of who is going to take over behind the bench. Another old pal of yours truly and the Chelsea Football Club. Graham Potter is the guy, rumored now, it hasn't been confirmed, I don't think, to take over West Ham United. And I'm here for it. I think it'd be great. One thing I know is he won't get as big a paycheck. All right. I think, well, he's already making enough money off of Chelsea. He's made enough money off of Chelsea just from the buyout. He doesn't have to worry about such money, but he turned down a couple other attempts at jobs, but it sounds like he's willing to go to West Ham, which is bonkers to me. Absolutely bonkers. All right. Moving on. So the match where Wish, Adelia was here for it. She may not agree with one of my insights into it. But moving into it, Brighton, Arsenal, and it's Ethan Nwaneri scoring his second of the season. Young kid. Looks good. Coming in off the right side. 16 minutes in. Just powerful. Now, was Brighton possibly a little lackadaisical defensively in their own box? The answer is yes. I have no idea what they were trying to do there. Poor defensively, but Arsenal go ahead. They don't really press for another. They get attempts, but they don't really get like great chances moving forward. And at halftime, when Nwaneri gets pulled off, he has a muscular injury, they say. Could be out for a few weeks. This is a club already without Saka on that side. Nwaneri's his backup. getting light now on the right side of their offense, losing another guy, and this is on their push. How can these guys not go get somebody? They even get a winger right now. If they can get a winger that they can convert to a striker, but they need to get someone. They need maybe to get multiple people. They need to make some sales, and we're hearing maybe some of the I can't remember. I wanted to say Kieran Trippier. I believe that is not who I meant. Hold on one second. I'm gonna remember. Well, when I say remember, everybody, it means I'm gonna go and look up who the player I'm thinking about is, because there's some rumors of players going out. Sorry, Kieran Tierney. It's one of the rumors of players going out. I don't know how much that sells. Can you get rid? Can you get rid? Oh, why is it saying that? Hold on, guys. I don't know why my camera's going off. But if you're listening to the podcast, don't worry about it. Maybe I'll try this other camera instead. Everything is working out just fine. Maybe if I hit this. There we go. Look at that. So smart. All right. Yeah. Kieran Terry, can you, I know that there's players that Adelia would love to see gone, like Thomas Partey and stuff like that, but I don't know how you get rid of him right now. Can you get rid of a Martinelli right now? They're thin up front still, but she even said, yeah. Now that I look over on the things or whatever he's saying, he might be going back to Celtic. That isn't enough. You need to get money in because you guys need to make a splash, especially with maybe there's a little unrest at Anfield. Maybe that's something you could take advantage of, but you guys need people to fill the net. You can't worry about Gabby Jesus doing it. He couldn't do it for you in this one. Now, we're going on to what I'm sure Adelia will agree. Probably the turning point of the match. 59 minutes in, João Pedro in the box heads the ball. It glances off William Saliba's head. Saliba was coming in to play the ball. He kind of misses the ball. It goes off his head, but he ends up headbutting Pedro in the face. And the penalty is called by Anthony Taylor. Anthony Stewart. I'm trying to make sense of it, and it's hard to make sense of this, Adelia, because of course it's Anthony Taylor. It makes no sense. But I'm trying to think of it as maybe as a reckless tackle. Like even if you touch the ball, but you go over and you stud into somebody, they would still call it a foul, just because he was going in for their headbutt and wasn't mindful of João Pedro's face. Yeah. I think they were even saying on the broadcast that this is, pretty a pretty rare occurrence. I don't know how many other refs would actually call the pen here. It doesn't look good when you headbutt somebody in the face, especially when you just played the ball. So I don't. You can't put this one on VAR. Taylor calls it on the spot. I think if Taylor doesn't call it, VAR doesn't intervene either. She thinks it's ridiculous. Yeah. Odd. It's an odd way to draw. Well, there are many videos on YouTube if you'd like to find out just how idiotic Anthony Taylor is. One of my favorite things is when the special one was waiting for him after the Europa League final that one year when he was the coach at Roma. Now, So Arsenal are held to 1 point by Brighton. Arsenal only put 3 shots on target in this one. They needed more, especially with Brighton. Brighton has not been great. Brighton is now 0 wins in their last 8 games. We got, yes, she's saying these kind of calls are why there are some conspiracy theorists out there who think that Adelia, there's a set of rules. Every fan base thinks there's a set of rules for them. Look at the Chelsea stuff. Look, I'm sure United are probably the only ones that don't have one. Liverpool, they seem to get their ways quite a bit. City used to think that way. Yeah, yeah. It's just that the refs are shit. Adelia. There's no consistency throughout it. So there's egregious calls are going to come. I don't think it's going to come against every club. Just look at Forest last year, going nuts about everything. This year they seem to have been quiet about that. They seem to be getting the calls this year. So when you're getting the calls, you don't complain about the rest as much. It's just Arsenal has been frigging hard done by with some ridiculous. They've had worse things happen to them than that headbutt. I'm thinking of Leo Trossard getting tossed for that kick, especially after Doku just had played the ball longer and stuff like that earlier. And that they've had some weird calls. They've had some bad calls. The Saliba thing. It's Arsenal's had bad calls. And Chelsea's had bad calls. They have bad call this week. Doesn't go for them. Spurs don't seem to get too many bad calls, but they don't earn calls either way because they don't do anything. And Adelia agrees with me. Yeah, the Declan Rice red card for tapping the ball and the guy kicks at him. He still gets red carded. So strange. It's odd. It's odd. There was no reason for him to for the ref to pull the other yellow card at Declan Rice for that. We all know it, but yeah, it's not an agenda. It's just poor referee. They're garbage. Nothing we can do about the refs except complain about them here on the starting 11. Now, moving on. Fulham and Ipswich, and this was a pretty entertaining matchup. And absolutely bonkers. Final 3 minutes, 3 penalties called in the last half hour of this match. Sam Smodics actually gets the scoring opening the scoring here now for the Tractor Boys in the first half. Ben Johnson with a header off the bar. Calvin Bass, one of the worst attempts at a clearance you'll see in the Premier League all year, takes a wild swipe at it. I don't know if it goes off his laces lazily, just kind of twirls into Smodic's path. He has no problem bearing it. It's a 1-0 lead for Ipswich Town through the first half break. Now, going into the second half, 67th minute, one of the, outside of Anthony Gordon, one of the more premier divers in this league, Harry Wilson, just gets into the box. His trailing leg is caught by Sam Wilson. On first view, when I was watching it, I thought this is an obvious dive. Yeah, he's nowhere close. Upon second view, he pretty much stamped him on his calf. I have zero problems with the penalty being called in this one. The problem is Harry Wilson, whenever anything happens to him, he's on the ground and looking back like Bruno Fernandes. You know what I mean? He's just sliding. It's like he's not even come to a stop before he's sliding back looking for the call. Like, oh, look what happened to me. Whatever. Anyways, Raul Jimenez gets to step up. Again, a weird kind of stop-starting thing or whatever with this lead up to the shot, but he'll score and make it 1-1. I guess the goal technically in the 69th minute. Next, a minute later, Liam Delap gets a soft call of his own. 2 weeks in a row, a soft call for Liam Delap in the box. He just kind of runs into Timothy Castaigne, much in the way, Anthony Gordon ran into Kulisevsky, except even sure Castaigne standing here. Liam Delap just kind of bumps him and then falls on his back. Somehow the penalties given in VAR clears it. This is, again, it's consistency. This is 2 days apart, these two calls. Ridiculous. The lap will put Ipswich Town ahead, 71 minutes in. Now, does Delap get these calls when he's eventually sold? I don't like the rumors, of course. Everyone's going to look at a young kid. Delap here is doing well for a poor team. If they want to sell him, this is when they make their bank, probably. Does he get those calls at Arsenal? Does he get those calls at Chelsea? I'm dubious of that. I think you'll get a couple of these calls because people just shrug and say, Ipswich. There you go. But 89th minute, in a wild sequence, Jack Clark has a great chance for insurance from outside the box. He hits the hell out of it, but his shot goes square off the post. Fulham counter. Raul Jimenez gets into the box. He goes down dramatically from a Leif Davis challenge. There's another penalty called, but this one is a pretty good decision. Again, Leif puts his foot into Jimenez's boot. Jimenez goes down. I have no problem with the call. And it's Raul going up again. Puts another one in. Late equalizer. Fulham, incredibly, unbeaten in 8 games, but they dropped a 9th spot because they only earned 1 point. Ipswich really needed those 3 points. They remain 18th. They're now level on points with Wolves, who had yet to play, and they're only 1 point behind Everton. Could have overtook Everton with that win. It would have been huge for Ipswich. Anyways, we're going to move on because everyone on Sunday was waiting for the marquee matchup. It used to be the marquee matchup of the entire league. It's like the Red Sox and the Yankees, the Premier League. Liverpool at home. They're at Anfield, where they never walk alone, you guys. I don't know if you know that. Taking on Manchester United, who have been, I wanted to say, dirty word, but I won't, out of respect for Adelia, who's suffering through Midwestern internet at the current time. Now, at least this match did not disappoint whatsoever. Now, I don't know if it was before the match or after the match. There seems to have been a lot of chatter going around about Darwin and Nunez and Trent Alexander-Arnold not happy with each other. Both rumored to be moved. I don't see any reason why Trent Alexander-Arnold gets moved or even wants to move before the summer when he's free to do so. He can easily just walk in to Madrid. I think they know that as well. I think they've probably, now that it's January, touched base with him a little bit. They're allowed to do so. So I don't see Trent Alexander. Maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he's actually goes to Spain, would actually be able to play his natural position, but we'll see. Darwin Nunez, of course, also rumored to head elsewhere. I don't know who really wants a Darwin Nunez. Like, does Arsenal can't swoop in together? They're never going to sell him to Arsenal. Who else could use a Darwin Nunez? A guy who, shows up every few weeks, puts something in. A guy that's a lot more talk. He fights more, after the whistle than on, it seems. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're going to go to the match. I just thought it was interesting that those two were having problems in the Anfield dressing room. Uh, both teams were trading chances in the first half. Alexis McAllister had a real good try. Diego Dallo sets up a mod. It's an easy header. It's easy, and it was like a perfectly placed header. It's like, oh, here's the opening goal. Somehow, Ahmad mishits it so bad that it actually goes behind him. It is easily cleared, but so we get no scoring throughout the first half. Second half, we get a goal. 52 minutes in from the visitors. Bruno Fernandes with some real good work outside the box. He finds Lissandro Martinez just making a run in. His nifty little pass finds him. He absolutely hammers it over Allison to make it 1-0 for the Red Devils. Really nice high shot. The ball came off his boot like a missile. But Liverpool ties it. A pretty similar spot, actually. Cody Gakpo gets to almost the exact same spot. His shot isn't quite as high on Onana, but it's high enough to get through to tie it up. Then, 10 minutes later, some people, for some reason, having a little, let's say this is a little controversial, this call. Matthias de Ligt in the box, ball's played. His arm is up over his head like this. It goes off his arm. A penalty is called. Some people are saying that's a natural position for your arm. I believe it's a pretty famous Manchester United YouTube guy that said when you run, you don't run like this. You don't run like this. Somehow you run like this. Like you're in Team America or something like that. Of course it's an unnatural position. Now, this one, as compared to the Joe Linton call, is night and day. Joe Linton, hand down by his side, trying to keep it tight. Matthews de Ligt like this, making himself bigger. Whoa, where's the controversy here? So, Mo Salah gets a step up. He will score his 18th of the season, leading 18th of the season. Talk more about him in a minute. This one just beating Onana to the post. This one was close, but Mo Salah still, his age, able to hammer the ball home. Liverpool lead. Now, for this game, Manchester United don't buckle. And it's a great pass by Garnacho that sets up the equalizer. He goes from his left wing, puts it through. There's a couple of guys who could have got in the way that didn't. But there was some, good speed on the ball, and it falls to a man who Diallo is sitting there. He's not going to make the same mistake twice. He absolutely buries it to draw level. Andy Robertson was there, just not fast enough to react to him. Diallo atones first half whiff after 80 minutes. Now, moving on from there, I believe this one is going into this one in extra time. I can't remember the exact time on this one. But Darwin Nunez is upset that a late tackle it wasn't a late tackle, but a tackle by Lenny Orolate wasn't called. This is like how you design a tackle in football. You get to the ball, you go hard, you play the ball. If you can take out the guy, good, but you clear the ball. It was fantastic. He did a great job. Lenny Yoro was very good coming on in this match. I don't like it. I can tell you that. But so Nunez, just more things to complain about. Liverpool, United each share a point. Liverpool failed to take advantage of Arsenal's little slip there, but it's still a nice, healthy lead up top. They had a 6-point lead over Arsenal with that game in hand against Everton. And I talked about the rumors of Trent Alexander-Arnold going to Madrid. But Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk still don't have contracts, and they're approaching, like Salah and Van Dijk each out of contract at the end of the year. Mo Salah keeps saying like he doesn't think he's coming back. I still think this is just a marketing thing for him. Like, you know what I mean? He's building up the money. There's no way Liverpool is letting this guy go. Why would they? Why would they let him go? It's not like they don't have the money to sign him again. He'd probably sign for the same money. He's leading the league in goals. Is there a drop off in Mo Salah's production? What he does for their club? Absolutely not. Ridiculous. And Virgil van Dijk. You ask anybody in that league who's the one person you don't ever want to go up against, it's Virgil van Dijk. How does this guy not have it? He's your captain. How are you not paying this guy? Ridiculous. Now we hear that Elon Musk interested in buying Liverpool now as well. Oh boy. All right. Anyways, over on the Manchester United side, Joshua Zirkzee just came over, and now it looks like a lot of teams, especially teams in Italy, looking to take him. But the player is shooting that down right now. I don't know how much it is up to the player though right now in January. I'm sure he'll see an offer, say from Juventus or something, and if it's good enough, he'll take it. United need to clear house of a lot of guys, but how do you trust Ruben Amorim to bring in players? He's got it with Gyökeres when he was in Portugal, but would he work in the Premier League? Like you see, Amorim was doing fine. He was third on the table in Portugal. He comes to United, it looks terrible. So, and they gave him a 3-year contract. Anyways, the 3-year or 5-year? Gee whiz, they gave him too much for a guy who's never coached in the Premier League before. Anyways, United move up to 13th here. So congratulations to them. Big achievement. Okay, last match of the week. Wolves taking on Forest, and poor Vitor Pereira finally tasting Premier League defeat. Nuno Espirito Santo. His squad wins their 6th match in a row. They had 3 shots on target, and they scored in all 3. The first to former Wolves forward, Morgan Gibbs-White, a real nice shot from the center of the box, much to the crowd's chagrin. It didn't seem like they appreciated him scoring. He did a nice little earplug celebration. I liked it quite a bit. Now, 33rd minute. This is another one I was talking about earlier. Ryan Aït-Nouri reaches out to bring his hand in to block a cross, hitting it. So his hand is out. He brings it in, much like Jack Grealish in the FA Cup semifinals against Chelsea last year. Same exact motion. Somehow, the penalty isn't called and VAR clears it. Again, the consistency. The league's consistency is bananas. Wouldn't matter Wouldn't matter. Matt Sells was very good in net for Forest. Makes an incredible save off of Jurgen Strand Larsen. I think they clear was it a Cunha attempt was cleared off the line and stuff like that. Like they had to do a couple of things. It wasn't, he didn't have a nap back there. Sells was pretty good. Now, third goal scored by I said Chris Wood scored the second one. First, I guess I should have said that after Callum Hudson-Odoi drove into the box. Somehow Chris Wood is alone in the middle of the box waiting. So yeah, that's a goal. The second half, the last goal comes in second half extras. James Ward-Prowse. How's that for a name you just don't hear much about anymore? Assisting Taiwo Awoniyi's second goal of the year. Forest move up to third place. They're level on points now with Arsenal, but Arsenal has like 11 more goals than those guys. Wolves hanging on to 17th, and they didn't look sharp. They didn't look sharp. But there's a pretty good squad over there in Nottingham. Okay, time to do some predictions now. I live in the Great White North, as some of you may know. We still have, SOS systems here. So has managed to get some of Adelia's predictions here. And I'm just going to write them down quick because I'm going to do mine live for you guys. She's got that one. She's got this one. She chose that one. That's weird. Let's see. She's got this one. She has, that one is that's a D. Okay, that's odd. Now, new. Okay. Wow, I can't believe they chose that one. And then Brighton. And then, okay. So, now, guys, I'm going to go to the Sleeper app where we've been doing our predictions all year. Had a pretty good week. I thought I did great. It's one of my better weeks. I got 6 correct. The unfortunate part is Ferris also got 6 correct. So, I didn't lose, but I didn't win. But I did better than Adelia. So I'm creeping up on her. I'm still very much in third place between the three of us. Now, moving on to Matchweek 21. Brentford and City. Adelia's picking a draw. I'm going to pick Brentford to win at home. I think the last 2 matches for City were smoke and mirrors. Let's see what happens if Brentford really wants to play on the front foot against these guys. I think they can put some behind. I don't know if it's going to be Ortega or Ederson at the time, but I think they'll be able to score. This is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a fun game to watch. West Ham, Fulham. She has chosen Fulham to win. I will choose Fulham as well. I think that's an easy pick at this point of the season. Would be 9 unbeaten for Fulham, which is pretty nuts. Chelsea, Bournemouth. Chelsea has to win. No more fooling around. Like they've been dragging themselves around the pitch for 4 matches now. They have to take care. Bournemouth, I think they're going to do it. It's at the Bridge. You got embarrassed by Fulham there. You can't lose to Bournemouth. Not home. Forest and Liverpool, and what is the big matchup of the week? Adelia's gone for Liverpool. Forest with a win over Liverpool this year. And they're at home where they always win. I'm going to go nuts. This is why I never win the predictions week, but I am choosing Forest to beat Liverpool at home this coming, well, not even this week. It's the next week. We have FA Cup this week. Everton taking on Aston Villa. Yeah, she's picked Villa. I'm going to pick Villa. Everton. Will this be Daish's his last hurrah at Goodison Park? We'll find out. Leicester and Crystal Palace. She's chosen a draw. I'm going to pick Palace to win this. Palace has been playing much better than Leicester as of late. Should be able to get 3 points out of the King Power Stadium. Newcastle and Wolves. She's chosen, surprisingly, Newcastle, who are much better than Wolves, and I will choose them as well. One thing I didn't say about Wolves is it looks like they're going to sign Cunha to a 4.5-year contract, and there's going to be an option for a 5th year. Pretty ballsy, considering, they might not be around next year, but go get that money when you can. Yes. Now, Arsenal's taking on Tottenham, and the fun match of the week is the North London Derby. Some of the most brutal football matches of all time have happened on this fixture. She has surprisingly, as an Arsenal fan, chosen Arsenal, and I'm going to surprisingly choose. No, it's not going to be a surprise. I'm going to choose Arsenal. They're way better than Tottenham. Not as human beings, probably, but as a squad, yes. Ipswich Town against the host Brighton. Brighton, again, on that poor streak of not collecting wins. Ipswich playing better. Do they have enough to take on Brighton? Adelia's chosen Brighton. I'm going to choose Ipswich just to be, again, a little stinker. What a big win that'd be for Ipswich. Brighton circling the bowl as of late. Winless in 8. Now, final match of the week, and it's Manchester United against Southampton. It's even if it's United, and even if it's at their worst, they'll always have enough to beat Southampton Saints. And that will do it for the predictions, and that'll do it for this week's starting 11. Guys, again, we're going to be off next week due to FA Cup. We will be back for these matches to talk all about them. Coming up on the flagship Let's Get Ready Network Entertainment channel, Adelia and I, internet allowing, we'll be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the Rewatchers Council. We got Gingerbread coming up this week, our first live show of 2025. Can't wait to talk about it. A real fun episode. LGRN After Snark, not on this week. It will be next week. And we're going to talk about 2025 television shows. We'll probably talk more Skeleton Crew, which has been real fun. And then, we'll probably talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. I got dart tournaments to do, so we'll talk about that probably a little bit. Talk about our lives, as I sit here. It looks like Adelia said that they just got snow, which is ridiculous. Feels like it's been under a blanket of snow here for the last 8 months. I guess it's only been about 3, but yeah, we've had a snowy winter so far. We can't all be so lucky to live in the Midwest of America, I guess. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching Starting 11 this week. I hope you all have a fun and safe weekend, and we will talk to you next time once I play the other button.